So recently someone had made a comment about how they had never seen where a flow test had correlated with what they called real world performance. So I thought I would just address this topic and do a comparison of flow test collected data with data that's been collected on my GTI. And so the goal of this one is going to be to primarily look at these parts, which is the turbo inlet elbows. So we're looking obviously at intake parts, flow rate through this, the inlet hose, and then also attached with one of these guys, the airbox intake, and see what the flow rate does on this, and then on the car, putting these different components on it, looking at the turbocharger's wastegate duty cycle and seeing how that may be affected, and seeing if measures that are made on the flow bench predict differences that are seen on the car. Next up, racing line. Video. I don't need two hands. The run through on the testing there on the flow bench was pretty quick, and that was intentional, not really looking to spend a lot of time showing what's going on there, just showing how it's done. So looking at the chart here, main thing that we're taking away from this is you see the differences with the Epman inlet elbow compared to the MST inlet elbow. No surprise, the inlet elbow, MST, which is designed for a hybrid turbo, did better during this test, and the Epman, designed for a stock turbo, didn't do quite so well because the adapter in this test was made for simulating a hybrid turbocharger. Right over here, not in the current configuration, but sticking, I'm going to go ahead and replace the airbox, inlet hose, and the inlet elbow, and then check on the turbocharger's wastegate duty cycle. This chart here shows the wastegate duty cycle for both the APR intake using the Epman elbow and MST. MST is the blue line, Epman is the orange, and as you can see, there is a higher wastegate duty cycle using the Epman inlet elbow. This chart is like the last one, other than now this is the Racing Line R600 intake. You see the orange line is the MST elbow with a lower wastegate duty cycle, and switching over to the Epman elbow results in the wastegate duty cycle increasing and actually hitting 100% by the end. This chart summarizes the wastegate duty cycle for each configuration at 6,500 RPM, and you notice the longer lines, which is the turbocharger's wastegate duty cycle maxing out, is occurring with the Epman elbow, and you've got a lower duty cycle using the MST elbow. Lastly, the data is combined. On the vertical axis, you have the wastegate duty cycle, and on the horizontal axis, the maximum flow rate from the flow bench. And as you see, with the flow rate increasing, the wastegate duty cycle decreases. So as you have a higher flowing intake, the work that is being done by the turbocharger decreases, which makes sense. And you see with both data points are close to each other, indicating there is good consistency between the two intakes with the results, as well as a strong correlation between the airflow and the wastegate duty cycle. Okay, there you have it. Comparison of flow bench derived data from vehicle street derived data. Strong correlation, good predictive power from the flow bench to performance on the vehicle, at least in terms of the wastegate duty cycle. So hopefully this answers the question as far as Does the flow bench correlate with the real world? Absolutely.